Hey there, I'm Obi Ed. We're drinking from the Garden Hose, your absolute favorite podcast. The charm is that we suck. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, be them Apple Podcasts or Spotify or iHeartRadio or even on Amazon. Just ask your friend Alexa. She'll play it for us. Ed, how are you?
I'm doing great. Episode number 22. It's amazing that we've lasted this long. And when you said that smart home assistant's name, I was expecting all my lights to shut off or turn on. I wasn't really sure, but good thing that it did not hear you say that word. Let's just put it that way.
And with a child named Alex, I'm sure she's listening all the time.
Well, isn't that the whole thing with big tech? Aren't they always listening? Like, the other day I was talking about, hey, I'm thinking about getting a new AC system. And then you'd go on Facebook and everything on there is click here for new AC system.
It is scary. It is scary taking these off. Not that you can see what I just took off. I took off my glasses, everyone, for whatever that's worth. I don't know.
Obi's also not wearing a hat tonight for whatever that's worth.
Yes, yeah. I am totally out of costume. Which, leads me to my question, Ed. So bear with me for a moment as I get a little metaphysical with you here. We're going to go deep in this podcast. So I bet I'm not alone with this phenomenon. It's a little late at night. I'm getting ready for bed. It's trash night, and I realize, fuck, I didn't take out the garbage cans. Now, I go, well, the garbage man usually comes at 10 o'clock. So you know what? I'll get up and take the garbage cans out. If I make that choice, then the garbage man, of course, comes at 7 o'clock. And because I know occasionally it comes at 7 o'clock, if I don't make the choice, I bring him down, he comes at 10 o'clock. Well, of course, that happens to everyone. And so the metaphysical question isn't why does that happen to everyone, but how do we all decide which nights together to bring down the trash cans and which nights not to?
Together, you mean like collective together? Because if you don't bring the trash can down, the trash is going to come early. But if your neighbor actually brings it down, that should keep the trash from coming at 10 a.m. So why are you the one getting screwed? Which means he didn't bring his down either, is what you're saying, right?
That is what I am saying. That we all make that decision together. Or, of course, it's just our imagination that that's the way it always happens.
Well, I think that's a whole superstition thing, right? We could take it from garbage. We could take it to having an umbrella, bringing an umbrella, right? How often have we said, good thing I brought the umbrella, kept it from raining today? Or how about the guy, and I'm that guy, went out and bought a $900 snowblower, and that winter it didn't snow at all, when the winter before I had to shovel my driveway 15 times, right? Or, I had a buddy back in high school. One of my favorite ones is when a bunch of guys in high school go out, you always look around and go, hey, you guys got any rubbers? And the one guy always goes, that's like bringing an umbrella on a sunny day. Why the hell would I do that? I always thought that was a good one. I remember that to this day. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, the funny thing about my trash collection is the recycling comes really early in the morning. I'm talking like 7 a.m. they hit my house, right? But the trash, those guys, they don't show up until 5 o'clock, 5:45. I mean, so it's almost as if the recycling, I'm the first stop, and for the trash, I'm the last stop. So the question, that doesn't help me out though, right? Because I'm not going to get out of bed at 10 o'clock at night to bring just the recycling out and leave the trash behind. I'm going to bring them all out, right?
Once you're out, right? I think so.
Yeah, I noticed that that my neighbors are the ones that always get lucky. Like, I'll notice my neighbor across the street, he'll be bringing it out in the morning. I'm like, son of a bitch, he made it. He made it. How does he get to gamble and win? And like you're saying, when I gamble, I lose.
That dude's a lucky bastard. That's what that dude is, because me and my neighbors will come up. We'll both come running out. I've seen it in the morning. Oh God, happy as can be, because we hear the truck coming down the other side of the street. But that guy's lucky. Is he your next door neighbor or across the street? Maybe he's getting lucky because he's across the street.
Well, he's across the street, but it's not like Now, I will tell you, the trash comes to my side first, but it's not like he's putting them out as the guy's emptying my trash. And so
Right,
he
right.
just, got lucky. I mean, he's literally putting it out before the guy even shows up on our street. So I'm telling you, that guy dances with the devil and he wins. But I get you. You always get screwed like that. And I'm telling you, I mean, my daughter got lucky today with the rain. Like, I dropped her off at lacrosse practice and it looked like it was going to rain. And she even said to me, "Damn, I forgot my rain jacket." I thought for sure she was going to get drenched because of that move.
So enough of the girls remembered their rain jackets is what happened. She was the only.
That's a great point, Obi. The reason she said, "Damn, I forgot my rain jacket," isn't because she noticed it was raining, even though it was obvious with the windshield wipers. It was because she noticed all her teammates that had gotten there already were wearing their rain jackets. So yes, they protected her.
She was saved by the majority.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are really going in a direction we don't usually go in because superstitions is not our thing at all. This was supposed to be an episode on trash. At least that's how I sold it to the board of directors who make the episode decisions. And boy, we turned left real quick because I know Ed was here thinking, when am I going to talk about recycling? Who could complain about recycling? It's saving the environment, even though it's hard.
So I did all this research. I got a notepad here of stories, trash stories and recycling stories and why we should save the earth. And, because exactly what our podcast is about is how we should save the earth. We're a bunch of tree huggers. But in reality, I do have a trash story for you. And it is a back in the day trash story. When I was in my early 20s, just had imagine living next to what I'm about to tell you. Imagine living next to this guy. So I lived on the third floor walk up, and it was like one of those apartment complexes where your door opened to the outside. I don't want to call it a motel, but you open to the outside and you walk down the stairs and you got to the parking lot. And I was living with my brother, and like I said, we were in the early 20s, and we were, we couldn't, we had a dumpster to take the garbage to, but we were so lazy at that 10 o'clock at night. If the garbage was full, we would just put it outside our door, right? And then one day, and we did this for like a month. We would just and then the next day, I would walk out and I'd be like, "Son of a bitch, I ain't putting it in the dumpster. I'm not the one that took it out of the garbage can to put it outside. So he's got to do it." And I think he would then walk by it and say, "Son of a bitch, I'm the one that took it out of the garbage can and put it outside. He can take it to the dumpster." So we would leave the trash bag out there for days, And then one day I got a call from the rental agent saying, "You guys are going to get kicked out if you don't start taking your garbage to the dumpster." I got put on double secret. I got put on double secret probation for trash.
Hey, people will complain. When I had my wife and I, we lived in a 4th-story walk-up, more of a traditional apartment building where you would not just put your trash in the hallway when you opened up your door. But out our window, 4 stories down, was the big trash can. And so you would see the people, on my floor, who had, my apartment all the way down, reaching out over the fire escape and just dropping bags into the garbage can. Now, this was a little before recycling was a thing. So all the garbage in one bag made it down there. It worked well. But one time we threw our broken alarm clock out and we missed. And it just had a bell. It was an old, and it just started running down 4 flights of stairs. That was a little embarrassing because we were the one, had to get to the garbage. Everyone saw us trying to turn it off, and a little disheartening, I would just say the least, on the alarm clock.
Well, I gotta think that, okay, that's bad. But if you were to miss with a full bag of garbage with maybe some pasta leftovers in there and some glass, and you miss the dumpster, and it, 4 stories up, it's gonna just explode when it hits the ground.
Yeah,
That's a messy cleanup. That's a messy cleanup.
Yeah, it was too easy to just kind of drop it with the alarm clock. We kind of tossed it because it was just an alarm clock. Like, the garbage was pretty nobody can see what I'm doing here. Forget that sometimes. But you went to the, you didn't have to get it far off the fire escape. It was pretty much a straight down drop. you weren't going to miss unless it was fall, in which case you did the right thing because I already had kids at that point. Wasn't that lazy, but the alarm clock was different. I was just a toss out the window. Like, of course I'll make this shot, and didn't.
So since we talk about back in the day things and we're talking about trash, which I'm sure nobody saw this episode coming, but and it only took us 22 episodes to get to the trash episode. Now
this episode is literally trash.
Well, the charm is that we suck, but I know that when I was growing up, I was obviously my parents, particularly my dad's remote control for the TV. I'm the one that changed the channels. I was also the landscaper, fall cleanup, spring cleanup guy, and I also had to take the trash out. Like, Ed, trash can's full, take it out, right? I mean, did you have the same thing? Did you have to take trash out all the time?
I was trash cans down. That was for sure. I think my mom probably took out the trash because I don't remember my dad actually doing it, nor do I remember myself doing it. I know my dad brought the trash cans up our driveway in the mornings because he used to get up so early for work that it didn't matter. Like, it wasn't like you or I were just talking. He got up like 5 a.m. So to pull the trash cans up at 5 a.m. was not a big deal. But I had to bring them down, which, we had a beehive once in our trash can bin holder thing. That was a scary moment. Bees all in there. But it wasn't, scary, but, we just called the exterminator, not worth a story. I don't recall who brought the trash out.
Well, okay. All right. That's interesting. So, because where I'm going with this is not only did I do that, so I was raised, and some people, my wife, would say that I'm from a different generation. I'm clearly a Neanderthal, and I believe strongly in the gender roles in the house, and we just fell into that. So my wife never takes the garbage out. You remember I told you about I would leave the garbage, or my brother would leave the garbage out of our front door? My wife, she will, if the garbage can gets too full and I don't do something about it, she will take the bag out, tie it off, and put it in the corner of the kitchen as a signal. Ed, get your ass over here and take it outside. So in our house, the man, he takes the garbage from the house out to the garbage cans, and he also takes the garbage cans out to the curb. Every once in a while, the female of the house will take the garbage cans back. But I noticed there's this one house about 2 houses down from me. The wife always takes the garbage cans out, and she always takes the garbage cans in. And there is a husband in this household, right? And I am just wondering what the hell is going on there, Obi. How does the guy not take the garbage out?
That is quite interesting. That is a good question, because even in my house, where we probably are a little more lax, if you will, our traditional gender roles, my wife does the same thing. I mean, literally, she'll tie off the kitchen bag, walk it 10 steps, and leave it by the door. She won't even break down a box for cardboard. She'll just leave it. And I have to take it out, take it down, bring it back. I got 2 sons. They refuse to do garbage. So I'm trying to think. I will be completely honest. My neighbors, I only know one woman who's bringing down the garbage, and she is a single mom.
Okay.
So no.
She's got no choice.
You don't have a choice. I think I saw her young son finally start to do it. I'm not going to swear on that. I don't want to get, but I have a feeling that's going to be his early job. He's still kind of young though. But yeah, so my sons get out of it. Like, that's
all right. So,
like, not
so
even
2 things. I want to get into that, but first thing I want to do is I just want to put out there that we both agree that if you're a man and you're not taking the garbage out, we're judging you. We're judging you right now. We think possibly you're not a real man if you can't take the garbage out, right?
We're looking at you, Florida dude.
Yeah, right. So if you can't take the garbage out and you're a guy and you're listening to this, start taking the garbage out, all right? Because even if you don't care about us judging you, just know your neighbors are definitely judging you. Because I judge this guy hard.
Yeah.
So
put down the Red Claw.
Oh, I should probably go check the garbage after she brings it out. Probably loaded with White Claws.
Yeah, just White Claws, right? After White Claw after White Claw.
And probably like mango flavor or something like that, something fruity. So, all right. So, okay. So we've established that. So the next thing I want to get onto, you said something that your sons will not take the garbage out. Now, we had a parenting episode already, and we've already talked about our kids don't do a damn thing. But here's the one thing I got to say to you. We just talked about this guy on my block who drinks White Claw because he doesn't take his garbage out. Does that mean you're raising two boys that are going to be judged by their neighbors because they don't know how to take the garbage out and their wife is going to have to do it?
I'm going to defend both of my boys here. So the oldest, he lives in apartments at school. Every time I've ever visited him, he has been the person in his apartment who is taking out the trash. So he is managing that. He's picked that up. He'll be fine. The youngest, who has a surprisingly steady girlfriend at this point, we are constantly reminding her that we try and we have failed. And if she's going to stick with this kid, she's going to have to start to train him. So we're leaving it to her, but we're warning her. Like, we know we can cook for you, so that's the thing, but you could cook yourself. So how about you teach him to do dishes or take out trash? You're going to have to help us help you. So we'll see how that goes. But we do ask her to, when we ask him, hey, can you help us help you? Tell him to take out the trash for us.
All right. So, Obi, it sounds like you were right to defend your older son, and it sounds like you just gave up on your younger son.
Well, we're asking for help. And,
you're delegating.
We're delegating to the person who's most likely to help him. Because right now she's, we're like, we've tried.
She has more of an ability to motivate him to do things that he may want to do than you do at this point. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely what I am saying. Absolutely what I am saying. Yes.
Got it. So what you got to do is, though, not only get her to teach him to take the trash out at her place, but somehow she's got to get him to take it out at your houses. Is what you?
Oh no, that's what I'm talking about. Like when he cooks and doesn't do the dishes, we're like, you know how dirty this kitchen is? It's because of him. So you might want to teach him now after he cooks dinner to do the dishes so you have a clean house. You know how this trash can is full? He won't. If you teach him now, because they are young, but they believe that they are going to be that couple of high school sweethearts that get married and are successful. That is their belief. So we try to train her to encourage him to help us keep our house clean.
Well, Obi, with that, first of all, with that belief, I mean, you don't play the game unless you expect to win, right? So all, right, every time you step your foot on the court, you should think you're going to win, right? So I don't begrudge them for that. And I guess you can actually utilize that to your advantage in this motivational technique that you got going on.
We are trying. We're trying to use her well. Although I'm going to share a funny story about her and our complete faith in her and him staying together. The other day, my wife was cooking cornbread, and she was over, and my wife said to her, "Here, let me teach you how to make a cornbread that will get you a man." And she said, "I have a man," and hugged my son. And my wife said, "Someday he may be a man, but he's just a boy now. Just in case, let me teach you how to make cornbread that will get you a man."
Nice. Meanwhile, she thought she was going under a test that your wife was giving her, and she was just trying to pass the test by saying, "He's my man."
I did follow up after my wife laid that license, but that was good. You're definitely going to win points with your air brother-in-law defending him. So good job. That wasn't the goal here, though.
I mean, you saw through the BS, but your wife was like, "Oh, that's sweet."
I think she probably saw the BS too, but wasn't interested in it. Like, she was like, "No, forget that line. That's not even important now. You're not winning brownie points."
All right.
So,
you got any other questions for me today, Obi?
Well, I do. I mean, we are a podcast, so we must have to talk about the single most exciting thing that has happened in the last couple of weeks on TV. And of course, that is, does your wife make you watch Bridgerton? And what do you think of it?
So I thought I was going to give you my opinion on Will Smith. And I am so broken up that no one wants to hear what I think about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. getting in that one little fight and having to move off to live with his auntie and uncle. But since you asked about Bridgerton, I know nothing about the show other than people argue on social media about how to spell it. So I've seen that. And then on my smart home device today, I have a Amazon show. Unbeknown to me, it must have known you were going to ask me this question because it said, watch Bridgerton tonight at 8 or something like that. And I didn't know where the hell that came from. So I think my wife might watch it, but I have no idea what the hell it is.
Well, I definitely think you should go ahead and ask her, at least just to see the people on the show. You may not have to follow the show, but it is pleasant viewing, if you will.
Okay. So I just saw this one young lady. She was in a dress, possibly a crown on her head. I mean, she was attractive, don't get me wrong, but I didn't see any of the other people. But you're saying it's worth taking a look at?
Yeah, it is. Especially if it's really one of those shows that are great to watch with your spouse. Like no question about it. It is a love story type thing, a rom-com with not much comedy, but pretty people to watch while you're doing it. And of course, watching that kind of thing with my wife on occasion earns me brownie points. I don't know how that works for you, but it does earn me brownie points.
So I think my wife kind of wants me to leave her alone and not be around her. So I'm not sure that would get me. I'm not sure that would get me points or get me in more trouble. I think she kind of likes
you
her.
got one of good marriages.
I mean, my wife has watched all the seasons of Downton Abbey. Right? Is that it? I've never seen.
That's another one. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had to sit through that. She's watched all The Office. Oh, The Fabulous Mrs. Maisel. She watched recently. I guess I don't know if that's 2 seasons or not. I didn't have to watch that. But on the flip side, I'm through Cobra Kai and she isn't. So I think I win.
Yes, I think you do too. I think Cobra Kai is a much better choice. So Ed, I am done. But if you would like to give your opinion of Will Smith smacking Chris Rock, you may. I am going to say nothing on that topic. I am done with that topic. I'm going to hashtag it whether or not you answer here or not. So everyone is waiting to find out whether that hashtag was a tease. Fresh Prince or not the Prince?
Listen, I think first of all, I think we learned in kindergarten, right, that you can't just hit other people, right? You just can't hit other people because you feel like it, right? So that's the first thing. I think the second thing is when you're on national television, you got to behave a little better. So I'm completely Team Rock on this one. I mean, and by the way, Chris Rock, this is what I really got to say about this. He's got to be the only man in Obi, I think you can chime in on this. He's got to be the only man in America who gets smacked and doesn't freaking whack the guy back. I mean, how does that happen?
I think on that note, this is my thought on that. It's shocking. Like he was just shocked. The media keeps saying Will Smith stormed the stage. That was the least storming storm I've ever seen. Will Smith strided like he was going to come up and say something like that was a good joke, or
hug him.
But I don't think there was a single flight or fight thing going on in Chris Rock's brain at that moment. And then it was a slap. And not even it was like, whap, bam. You get slapped and you come back and you're like, what just happened? And as you're processing it, he's walking away. You're like, because it wasn't like a follow-up shot. It was just a whap and walk away. Now, I have slapped a person in my life, and the reaction I got was similar to Chris Rock's reaction, by the way. They just went like, what just happened? Not a closed fist punch, just a. It came out of nowhere when I slapped the person. It was not I'm going to smack you. It was a boom. So I think it was the whole shock value that turns off your fight or flight functionality because there is no follow-up. I think if there's a follow-up, maybe it turns into a brawl.
I think you're right. I talked tough there, but I've been smacked. and actually it wasn't slap, but I've been punched twice in my life. Both sucker. Well, I've probably been punched more than twice, but sucker punched twice in my life. And both times the guy who sucker punched me got away with it because I was shocked. I was just kind of thinking, like, what the hell just happened there? So I guess you're
Yeah.
right on that one.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. I think that if you know it's coming, that you could take a much harder shot and retaliate than when you're like.
So there you have it.
There
you have my opinion. I don't think you should hit other people. Interestingly enough, though, at work recently, we had 2 teenagers, and they were in the facility, and one of them, one of them called the other one a nickname that the kid didn't appreciate, the teenager didn't appreciate. And hearing the story afterwards, apparently has told this other teenager, they're on the wrestling team together, don't ever call me that name again. Well, they see each other at my facility, and Teen A says to Teen B, "Hey, what's up?" and says the nickname. And teenager B immediately smacks the kid. And I'm not talking Will Smith style. I'm talking Mike Tyson style, and pummels the kid. And so, of course, we need to suspend teenager B for, code of conduct violation. Can't just go around hitting people. But, deep down, I really wish I could give that kid a medal. I mean, if you tell somebody not to call you a name anymore and they call you a name before, they kind of deserve to get hit in the face. Don't you think?
Well, here's where we get to, is violence ever right? Because you're taught not to hit people, but right at some point, you can't negotiate anymore. You've tried and you've tried and you've tried and you've tried. We have a story about my son where he took both of my sons have taken matters into their own hands at times. And on one of them, we applauded him, and the other time we just laugh and move on with it. We don't deem him as correct. So the one was being bullied. He went and reported it to the school because, we didn't want him hitting anybody. The school comes back and said there's no bullying coming on. So we told him, next time this person messes with you, which he did. And then the school came back and said, oh, we're going to suspend him. And we said, we filed bullying charges. He said there wasn't bullying. We're okay with that, but this is how he has to handle it now. So next time he hits this kid, it's on you, not on him. They became friends because that's what happens when boys bully each other and one punches the other. Right?
Well, so then you have an utmost respect for the guy who punches you in the face, right?
Right. So that was one. The other child, somebody was doing something stupid near him, and he said, "Stop that." The kid stopped it and then immediately started again. He said, "I said stop it." And the kid said, "What are you going to do?" And he said, "I'm going to stab you." And the kid then did it. He picked up his pencil and jammed it into the kid's hand. So that was a little more extreme, but he did establish himself as, I don't make empty threats, which is what he said. I told him I was going to stab him, so I had to stab him because, Dad, you told me never make empty threats. So,
well, that's true. You're right. You don't aim a gun at somebody unless you're going to pull the trigger, right? So,
right.
I guess it's the same thing. If you tell someone you're going to knock them in the face, you got to knock them in the face.
Yeah. So we told him not to make those threats so early in the process anymore. Like, you only
learn some negotiation skills before you go immediately to the nuclear war, right?
That's right. There are steps to be taken before you make that threat. So
nice. All right, Obi. I think we covered it all.
Yeah. We even dabbled in Smith and Rock. So
Team Rock.
That's all good.
Team Rock.
I'm team independent.
Come on, your team. Can't we all just get along? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I'm team. Honestly, I do not have enough info to know where in negotiations Will Smith was with Chris Rock, and that is what team I'm in.
Good point. Did he just? Yeah, good point. I mean, for all we know, they could have had conversations for the last couple of years about keep my wife's name out your effing mouth. Right. And he went one more time. He's like, "I told you." But if that is the case, Chris Rock should not have been shocked.
That is true. It seems like
if you've been told you're going to get smacked if you say something and you say it, and the guy comes at you, you probably should not be shocked that you get smacked.
that would lead to believe that he was not negotiated with fully. That is good evidence to that effect, but I'm still uninformed enough to make a call.
So what we're saying is Will Smith is more like your younger son who goes immediately from stop it to stabbing, as opposed to maybe a more judicial approach.
I didn't say which son was which. You must know my kids enough by now.
I think you did say it was your younger son, but I don't know.
Okay, I'm trying to protect the innocent here, or the guilty.
But listen, even if it was him, obviously that move got him a girlfriend, so it paid off in a lot of ways.
This happened before. This happened in the time when she was not aware of this incident. We told her this story recently.
Oh, that's probably legendary. Probably all throughout the school. That he's probably labeled like, "Yo, that's the dude who'll stab you with his pencil. You don't go near him."
Dude,
the girls are like, "Ooh, I want to." No, my kids. I want. The girls are like, "I want to be with the guy who stabs someone with a pencil." I mean, everyone knows that the chicks love a badass, right? And is there anything more badass than stabbing somebody with a pencil in their hand? No, there's not. So I think that is how he got his girlfriend. And so I think what we can say is if we're going to take this story full circle, your I guess negligence on teaching your son on how to take the garbage out is actually going to come back to work out, all because of someone getting stabbed with a pencil.
It's good to know that my parenting style doesn't suck, but the charm of the show is that we suck. I'm Obi. That's Ed. We will talk to you guys in a couple of weeks.